Hey everyone! So, you're looking to build an AI rig, right? And you've probably hit that big question. Do I go for the RTX 4070 or should I splurge on the 4080? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down. We're here to help you figure out which of these 40 series cards is the right one for your AI work.
All right, let's just get straight to it. No beating around the bush. I'm not going to make you wait till the end for the answer. We're going to give you the quick verdict, like right now. And then we'll spend the rest of this explainer digging into the why.
So yeah, that's the core question, isn't it? You're setting up a machine for things like stable diffusion, maybe training some models locally. Which of these GPUs is the smart move? Let's find out.
And boom, here's the answer, plain and simple. When it comes to deep learning, the RTX 4080 isn't just a little bit better, it completely blows the 4070 out of the water. We're talking a massive 50 to 70% faster. That is a huge difference. So let's unpack what's actually going on here.
Okay, so before we get into the nitty-gritty of their differences, you gotta understand that these cards are basically siblings. They come from the same family, built on the same core tech. So let's take a quick look at what they share.
Both of these cards are built on NVIDIA's Ada Lovelace architecture. You can think of this as their shared DNA, right? This means they both have these 4th-gen tensor cores, which are basically special little engines just for AI, and they both support something called FP8 precision. That's just a really smart way to crunch AI data faster without messing things up. It's like they both come with the same high-tech toolkit.
And you know, this quote from NVIDIA's CEO Jensen Huang really says it all. The whole 40 series is built around this idea of neural rendering and AI. I mean, even their gaming features are powered by AI now. It just goes to show you where their heads are at, and it's exactly why these cards are so awesome for what we want to do. Okay, family reunion's over. Now it's time for the sibling rivalry. Let's look at where these cards really start to differ, and that's under the hood. Time to talk specs.
First up, CUDA cores. These are the absolute engine of the GPU. The easiest way to picture them is like an army of tiny little workers. The more workers you have, the more stuff you can get done at the same time. And in AI, that's everything.
So the RTX 4070 packs a pretty solid 5,888 CUDA cores.
But then you look at the 4080, and wow, it jumps all the way up to 9,728. That's almost 4,000 more little workers ready to go on your AI models. It's no wonder it's so much faster.
And when you see it on a chart like this, it really hits home, right? It's not just a small bump. It is a massive leap in raw power. Honestly, this right here explains a huge chunk of that 50 to 70% performance gap we talked about right at the top.
Okay, next up, VRAM. So if the CUDA cores are your workers, VRAM is the size of your workbench. It's your workspace. This determines just how big and complicated your AI projects can get before you start running out of room. When you're doing stuff like high-res image generation, bigger is definitely better.
The 4070 comes with 12 gigs of VRAM, which is, it's pretty good for a lot of hobbies projects.
But the 4080 gives you 16 gigs. And let me tell you, that extra 4 gigabytes can be the difference between a model loading or crashing, or being able to generate a really nice high-res image instead of just a standard one.
So when you put it all side by side like this, the picture becomes really, really clear. We've talked about CUDA cores and VRAM, but look at everything else. The 4080 has more of those specialized tensor cores, and its AI TOPS, which is just a fancy way of saying how fast it is at AI math, is way higher. But here's the catch, right? Look at the power draw. The 4080 is a thirsty card at 320 watts, while the 4070 is much more efficient at just 200.
Okay, so specs are great, but numbers on a page don't really tell the whole story, do they? What does all this mean for you, in the real world, running your actual projects? Let's translate this into performance. And this really spells out the difference in what you can do. The 4070 is an amazing card if you're just getting started or your projects aren't super intense. Generating images with stable diffusion, running text-to-speech models, it's perfect for that. But the 4080, that's for when you want to go big. That's for pushing out high-resolution images and tackling really complex, heavy-duty AI models. All right, so this brings us to the big finale. The most important question. We've seen the specs, we've seen the use cases, now let's figure out which one of these you should actually buy.
So, which one is it going to be? Let's break this down real simple. I'm going to describe two different kinds of users. Just see which one sounds more like you.
Okay, so you should grab the RTX 4070 if, number one, you're on a budget but you still want in on all this new AI tech. If your projects are mostly things like moderate res stable diffusion or text-to-speech, this card is a fantastic practical choice. And remember, it's super power efficient, only pulling 200 watts.
But you should get the RTX 4080 if performance is everything to you. If you just can't compromise on speed, if you're working with really high-res images or chewing through complex models, and this is important, if your PC can handle that 320-watt power draw, then yeah, the 4080 is the clear winner here. No contest.
Okay, before we finish up, I have to give you one last, very important heads up. It's just a little reality check about what these cards are and what they aren't.
Listen, as amazing as these cards are, you have to remember, they're consumer GPUs. They're for us, the enthusiasts and creators. They are not designed for, say, training a giant language model from scratch or running a massive enterprise AI service. For that kind of heavy lifting, you're in a whole different league. You need the pro-level stuff like the A100s or H100s. So yeah, the 4080 is definitely the champ for serious hobbies today. But that leaves us with this kind of wild question to think about. AI models are getting bigger and more complex, like every single week. So what's the good enough GPU going to look like a year from now, or 2 years? Is today's top-tier card just tomorrow's baseline? Kind of makes you think, doesn't it? Thanks for tuning in.